It is my pleasure to welcome our friend Rob Hale back to the show. He is one of the most generous guys I know and a loyal listener of this program. And I think every year that I've been doing this, Rob has been among our first guests and the first to step up and talk to us about this fight. And Rob, good morning and thanks for being on.
Thanks, gentlemen. Delighted to be here.
Rob is the president and CEO of Granite Telecommunications and co-founder of Copley Equity Partners. And I know this fight that we will hear about over the next couple days is very important to you because you went through it with your dad and you have done so much since then to help those who are trying to beat cancer.
A gift to the Jimmy Fund is really, in my way of thinking, it's probably three different gifts at once, right? It helps our community. It'll help people like my dad and every member of our community. It will help our world because the doctors that we're funding, they're gonna create, they're gonna research, and they're gonna find medicines that are ultimately going to cure these insidious diseases. And it's a gift to Boston because medicine is what we're best at, so it makes our city best. So being generous to you is really three gifts in one.
Rob, I am in awe of your generosity and the manner in which you so quietly do so much for so many. And just on this specific case of the Jimmy Fund of the Dana-Farber, the ability to prolong life, I think, is one of the more under-discussed topics with cancer care, where if someone gets a terminal, diagnosis, we all just think, oh, it's over. But the money that you raise, that we donate, can really help a second grader make it to fifth grade or a 70-year-old make it to 75. The ways in which the treatments have developed to allow people who may not be able to overcome the illness, but may be able to live a good life for many years with it.
I think that's one of the foremost strengths at Dana is that research, that we just talked about. That research where hundreds, if not thousands, of scientists and PhDs and doctors are finding ways to create medicine to prolong life is one of the, if not one of the most impactful aspects of all of this research and all this funding. Because as you mentioned, kids get to go to the next grade or grandparents get to spend more time with grandchildren. It's powerful stuff.
Rob, something we were talking about off air yesterday actually about you was the fact that anytime anybody ever gives you any credit or commends you, you always make it a family effort. You always bring up your wife, Karen, or you say, the Hale family. You never take the credit for yourself. As a family, is this something that you guys talk about pretty frequently of how to give back and the resources you guys have and the places you want to put it?
It is part of our life. Maya Angelou said, too much is given, much is expected. We hope to live our lives that way. And we do talk about it as a unit on a pretty consistent basis. And, Karen and I expect to and hope to be able to do things like this for the rest of our lives.
Well, you've been a huge supporter of this effort, at least as long as I've been here at WEEI. And you and I spoke briefly about this today, and you said that you wanted to do something that you hadn't done before, Rob.
Well, I'd like to do something powerful with you. I admire your show, and the generosity that you have in our community is powerful. Please don't underscore how generous your show and your listeners are. And of course, we'd like to help Dana. So what we'd like to do, but the one thing we didn't talk about, Greg, last year is how much did we raise last year?
I think I can look at Ken Laird. Was it 750, over 750,000. Yes.
So don't you think we should have a reach goal this year?
I would love to have a reach goal. I think that everybody's listening. They're ready to go. I think you can motivate them to give even more than they've given in the past, Rob.
Well, I know that last year we had a matching gift, and I thought the number was 750. I knew it was in the sevens. Why don't we shoot for 775? Does that seem doable?
775 would be our match.
Woof.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
So
I think. What's that?
If you and the listeners raise 775,000 in the next two shows, Karen and I would be delighted honored to match.
Okay.
Wow.
So we will this is extraordinary. It's unbelievable that you do this, Rob. And so we can get 700 if the listeners can give over the next couple of days can give $775,000, then you will match that.
With pleasure.
That's
Wow.
extraordinary. That is
Great job, Rob.
That is extraordinary.
That's incredible.
Extraordinarily generous of you, Rob. We appreciate that. And I know the final question that probably all of us have. We haven't talked about this either.
Has Greg ever paid for dinner?
You and I
We all
have
know
not.
the answer to that question.
Yes, thank you.
We haven't talked about this, but any chance you want to buy the Celtics?
Has Greg ever paid for dinner? The answer is no.
All right, that's about. We're just trying to get anybody.
Right.
We want somebody local, Rob Hale.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
Too funny.
We want you.
We're pulling for you. So whether you want it or not, we're pulling for you to get it.
Thank you.
All right, Rob Hale, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I'm honored to assist you. Have fun to next couple of days.
All right, that is Rob Hale and stepping up and giving us a match of $775,000. So if we can raise that over the next couple of days, then Rob and his wife and his family will match it. Which is great.
Great job.
It's unbelievable that he does this every year, but it's never been easier to give. Like Greg brought up the way that you can text in, you can call. There are so many outlets. If you don't have the time today to, get on the phone, you can just pick up your phone, send a quick text, and help us get to that goal because Rob Hale matching that is unbelievable.
Well, and 87 cents of every dollar raised supports patient care and research for children and adults at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So you know that your money is going the right place and that they are working really hard to change things and working really hard to help those who are fighting. And one of those who is doing that every single day is in that fight every single day. Joins us right now, Brandon Milton, who is a part of nursing and patient care at Dana-Farber, joins us this morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Thanks for coming by.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me.
How long have you been doing this?
I have been in oncology, so the cancer fighting, for 5 years. Been a nurse for 6 overall, but I've known since I was a little kid I wanted to work in this field.
How did you? What made you? How early did you know, and what made you decide it was what you wanted to do?
Elementary school, I knew I wanted to go into at least medicine. Growing up, my dad got diagnosed with lung cancer. Beat it at first. We got 15 amazing years with him. And at that point, when he first got diagnosed, watching him go through treatment and seeing how amazing his doctors, his nurses, everybody in the healthcare organization was so good, it inspired me to really find my own path. And I was like, okay, this is what I really want to do. He gets diagnosed again when I'm in high school. And at that point, he was like, I'm done. It's good. He had his fight. We got 15 years that we never thought we'd even get. He passed away in 2021, and I graduated. He passed away in 2016. I graduated college in 2018, and I've been working in oncology ever since.
See, for me, it was the extra school. I couldn't even get out of high school. I could have never. I don't think I could have ever done it.
Well, I have to say, Brandon, I am super happy as somebody who kind of sees where this world is going with young people like yourself that are really trying to make a difference and trying to help people and save people, because cancer has touched us all. And it's the young people like yourself who are going to hopefully one day find the cure, and so we can eliminate this. So I am truly grateful that there are people out there like yourself.
Thank you, guys. And honestly, me and all my coworkers, we love what we do. It's a type of job you have to love. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days, but I couldn't do this without them.
You're at Dana-Farber, Merrimack Valley.
Yes.
And I was told, speaking of your coworker, you're the only male nurse.
Only male nurse.
How does that go?
Honestly, it's the best.
Okay.
It's
all right. Okay. All right.
it's a lot of fun.
All right.
They give me a lot of crap, but
That's all right.
yes.
No? Yeah.
but I have 2 younger sisters. I've been outnumbered my entire life, so it's just another day.
Just watch the movie Meet the Parents.
Exactly.
And you're an infusion nurse.
I am.
So for me, when I hear something like that, that means that you're with people when they're really going through it.
Oh yeah, we do all their chemo infusions. We do whatever they need. We're with them through thick and thin, and we just help when we can.
What I've been told from Dana-Farber patients is that you guys make it special. You guys make them feel like they're not going through this terrible time. What do you do in particular to help out your patients during these infusions?
I like to laugh.
Yeah.
I joke around with a lot of my patients, and a lot of my coworkers are the same way. We have this saying, it's like, hey, you're either going to laugh or you're cry, so you might as well laugh through it. You know, these people are going through the worst times of their lives, and we understand that. But we try to, make it as lighthearted as we can. But we sit down and listen, and we form these relationships with them. And it's nice that, we do something called primary nursing. So we see the same patients for the most part. You get assigned to a patient when they get started on treatment. So you're their nurse throughout the whole thing. So, a lot of my patients, I know their family, I know their friends, I know their life story. They know my life story. And it forms this bond where it's not as scary when you come into the building, and it's like, okay, now I'm just seeing like someone I know. It's easy. We have that relationship, and we just try to make, if we can change one day to make it not as bad, I'm good for my career, and I get to do that every single day. So I love what I do.
Can it be hard for you though, emotionally forming that close personal bond?
Absolutely. And it gets tough when not every patient we have is going to survive. And it's just the reality of the situation. But, we like to form those bonds because it makes it easier for them. And my coworkers, we all support each other throughout all of this. We know what it's going to be. There's a reason we got into this job. We know what the outcomes usually are going to be, or depending on, what their treatments are and how disease progression, all that fun stuff that we don't need to get into. But it's an important part of our job to have that human element.
Yeah.
We're treating people, not just diseases, and that's important, and that way we can help them psychosocially and whatever else they need. We can be there more than just, well, here's your chemo, have a nice day.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot more worth it to do the job, to form those relationships, even if on the back end, it's going to hurt a little bit.
But that's such a special person that enters a job where you're going to form bonds with young people, or old, but that are dealing with something so difficult. And I just am in awe of people like you, that there's a million ways you can go into nursing and they're all great, but the special character it requires to enter an infusion room with a child and knowing that you're going to form a bond with someone that you may not know as long as you'd like.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, every single nurse, we would never feel that way. We're just here and we love what we do. But if you called us, heroes and all those terms get thrown around, none of us view ourselves that way. We're here to do our job, and we love it, and that's all we need. Anything else is just extra.
Well, you are to us, so
It's
an incredible thing that you guys do every day, and thanks for sharing a little bit about it with us this morning.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Wouldn't have missed it.
All right.